All right, so Unfriended Dark Web drops pretty soon, and after countless seconds of analysis, it's pretty safe to say that it's gonna be bad. It's rated 5.1 on IMDb. Jake Paul is in the credit. It's gonna be a shit show. But I guarantee you this movie might just be the most important movie of 2018. And for a reason no one is talking about. This MacBook Pro screen recording format thing could honestly be the next best thing ever. You could make a damn masterpiece. And all the proof I need to prove that is in the last Unfriended movie. So bear with me, and here's why.
Oh my god!
Jump scares are like I don't know, bread. They can get stale, they're predictable, and they're full of carbs, so too many of them is bad. So something that makes a horror movie good is not having to lean so hard on these jump scares. We gotta keep a nice keto-friendly movie, so opting to unsettle the audience instead is also a good call. All right, now don't get me wrong. Sometimes it handles its scares pretty well. But overall, when Unfriended isn't shitting the bed, it can find some pretty subtle ways to creep you out. A good example of this is when Blair says to her boyfriend, who I'll now call Pepperoni Nips for the remainder of the video,
Pepper Nips,
to go on ahead and
Get the knife, baby.
Yikes.
it was like the first time we got introduced to the grainy sand glitch effect, and it really kind of made me feel uneasy because she looked like an actual physical testicle, like on the screen, and I'm pretty scared of those. Another good example of this,
And one of the few times the movie did it properly,
was a scene where Blair decides to fill out this form saying her dead friend's account has been hacked. And after she fills it out and submits it, the lines where she typed stuff in and says, I got her, I got her, I got her, I got her, which upon my second watch through actually genuinely creeped me out. Like, I can actually imagine me typing that in and then
No.
Or you could suck my fucking dick, you part.
Alright, so during the movie, the characters stare at the screen for unholy amounts of time. Like here in this scene where What's-Her-Face is giving an underage strip show to Pepper Nips.
No,
That's not it?
I don't want to live there. I want to live higher.
Am I gonna get demonetized?
This isn't usual because typically movies have cuts. One reason being to have multiple takes for your actors in case they screw up. But this movie doesn't do that. Instead, the actors did the movie in one take. All one take. Uno take. Done numerous times. And that is effective because theoretically you can cut in the best takes from every actor low-key seamlessly and then cover it up when they make a mistake. Like the scene I was talking about a second ago where she looks like a testicle. Old girl could have made a mistake or have had a better take and then boom, a seamless testicle cut. Other glitches and lag can feel natural too if it's properly covered up.
Right now, I'll come over there and knock the trash out of your ears.
Alright, so one of the main things that makes a genuinely good story is making someone feel they're actually in the actual story. This could be done by relating to the audience or putting the audience in a familiar situation, which in horror movies isn't really a thing at all. Like, I don't typically find myself chained up to a space heater stripped butt-ass naked in a stranger's basement at 2 a.m. on weekdays. I find myself on Discord chained up to my laptop willingly butt-ass naked. And in the movie, there were a nice handful of times where I genuinely felt this immersion from that format. Not the film itself, but definitely the format. Like the whole video call concept is a good example of this. Like there's this scene close to the end of the movie where a free live cams ad pops up with these random girls scrolling across. And then the scene where Blair was stripping at the beginning of the movie pops in. And then, oh boy, this clip is immersive because I've seen this type of ad before. Couldn't tell you where, but it's familiar and it gives off this kind of creepy twist. Mom, if you're watching, I'm just playing. I'm never. One of my favorite parts of the movie was the never have I ever section because it felt like I was actually on the call playing the game. It actually got kind of intense for the first time in the movie because of the familiarity of the situation and the atmosphere. Like I honestly put my fingers up to play along.
Never have I ever had sex.
You got me.
Mom, if you're watching, I'm just playing. I'm never. Okay, being smart and subtle isn't something horror movies, this horror movie especially, does well. With this type of format, doing little small subtle things to foreshadow or world build actually works kind of well. Like at the beginning of the movie, outside the screen, we can peep how Blair's on the call with Mitch, and a little bit hidden in the corner, she has a folder called Mitchy. Like obviously she isn't gonna have this folder for a casual friend. Like adding IE to the end of any name immediately implies y'all did something, trust me. I know, Mom, if you're watching, but what's great is that the viewer doesn't have to see this clip. And during this portion of the film, she doesn't explicitly say they are dating. Little subtle clues like that are nice for world building. And even though the movie does shove this fact down our throats a little bit later after that, it would have made a more interesting storytelling technique, i.e. show more, tell less. But maybe here it was justified because, you know, this dude was getting hella rapey during his scene.
It'll be worth it. Why don't you take that shirt off?
Yo, dog, chill. But they did do something. Like, actually, right when Blair is on the Fresno Star site, where Laura Barnes' suicide is actually addressed, it has these ads that say escape and who is following me, which are like actual fun little subtle nods to what's happening in the movie. It's especially good because we're seeing this on her page and not like anywhere else in the film, which is like some type of sign type thing. How movies give its exposition is a good read on how good the movie is going to be, I think. And with this type of format, you can give some of the most real and natural ways of doing it. Now, this movie did an absolute job of that, but the concept is there. Like at the beginning of the movie, Blair is looking at this live leak video with Laura's suicide. Like that's an easy way to do an exposition dump, and it's an easy way we can watch a character murder themselves by holding a gun backwards. Who wrote this? It feels hella obvious in its context, but again, if it's done right, I don't see why more stuff like this couldn't work. Another semi-good example of low-key clever exposition is in this one scene where Blair's explaining to Mitch that Laura was dealing with stuff, and she tries to explain what's going on through text, but she keeps like deleting it. So we see the turmoil she's going through, and we get background about what actually happened to her. And there's another example while they're on the phone with the police. Blair is looking at pictures of her and Laura to kind of show like, oh, dog, hey, they were friends, by the way. Again, a poorly handled, but could work really well if like it was handled well. In fact, if you aren't in theaters when you watch this movie, which I pray you weren't, there's a scene where you can pause and read through an article about Laura to get some additional backstory and get that good old optional exposition done. Like in the article, we learn she's like a special education student. We learn more about her past, like how she cut herself and had issues with food and got bullied by other students. There's hella optional world building here. Like I love it.
I swear anything.
Just as you'd expect, a movie that is literally a screen cap of a MacBook Pro is super cheap to make. Go figure. Even though it was like $1 million to make, I'm not kidding, it cost $1 million. But it made $64 million. So you can make it super profitable if it's promoted properly. Also, there's this argument that making low budget movies is a bad thing, especially coming from big production studios, but that isn't necessarily the case. See, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with making something for the cheap. It can force you to get creative with your tactics, and a format like this is a great example of that. I know this is true because I'm a YouTuber and I make all my videos at no cost to me, including my time, which is also worthless. I feel like people are always complaining about things not pushing boundaries or trying to be different enough. Like, oh, they made Tracer's booty smaller than Overwatch. The new Star Wars movie is playing it too safe. And yet what's successful is stuff that's been done before. Nobody is trying anything new, and we hear about people getting upset at things being not innovative enough all the time. And yet this gets put off as being a gimmick. Granted, it feels very gimmicky because the writers suck almost to the point where it's funny, but it took some massive gorilla nuts to produce this film. So I mean, I think that deserves some credit. Oh no, like I said, the format that exists now, it could work. Sure, it's cheap. Sure, it seems basic, but there's a lot that you could do with it. But you need some good writing with it. And I know. Like this upcoming dark web movie, it won't handle the writing well. It won't. But the movie has merits because of that type of format that it's in, and people don't really recognize that, I think. But you know, maybe given time, someone will write something that actually works for the format. I mean, I'm sitting here making critiques like I definitely can't, because things are a lot easier to critique from the outside. Making it is actually like difficult. But I'm just saying, if anyone wants to pick up the job, given the amount of time, you can make a lot of money if you make a well-written movie in this format. And when you do make the movie, hit me up. Just put me in the credits, G. I'll be looking for my royalty check. Thanks. Oh, what's up, y'all? Alright, so I want to thank you guys for watching. This one was a very different opinion, but you know, I wanted to bring a little light on, you know, the different types of, you know, like different ways we can handle stuff. Like there's always a different perspective. And if you like that video, you might like my Why Jurassic World is Stupid videos. It's like an analysis on why every character makes these terrible, terrible decisions in Jurassic World. Alright, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.